And I want to talk about something that I have been really deeply diving into, and I think it is going to be crucial. And that is how to leverage artificial intelligence in your business, whether that means you're an employee or whether that means you are a business owner, entrepreneur, how to leverage artificial intelligence for your business. Okay. So, this is something, everybody just throws around these terms like revolutionary technology and stuff. In this case, this AI stuff is probably the most disruptive material I have ever seen in my entire life. I have been doing a lot of research. I was on a meeting the other day with a woman. Her name is Cecilia Tam, and she showed this crazy thing where you could take a house plant, you put it in a robot, and the robot. Hey, what's up, Bill Moore? Happy to see you, buddy. You put this house plant inside of a robot, and the robot, and it's got solar panels, and it has like a special thing where it can like it basically takes the thought impulses from the plant, puts it into a robot, and it turns a plant into a dog. This thing like will drive around. If it wants sun, it'll go and put the solar panels in the sun. It'll go like couple with a water dispenser so you can get water. They've even hooked it up to a blockchain wallet, and it can make purchases or collect revenue. But like you could have it go out and be a busker, like these street entertainers, and have this plant doing tricks inside of a robot, and people will give it money through Bitcoin. Dude, this stuff is bending, mind bending. And some of the I've read a couple articles. Are any of you guys on Medium? Medium is like a blogging platform. I love it. I use it to host a lot of my blogs, and I've been posting a lot about artificial intelligence. I had one on an article that I just posted on how artificial intelligence could deceive you. I don't know if you've been hearing about this. So artificial intelligence can sample your voice, just like this podcast. There's a platform called, I think it's Synesthesia. I can't remember. There's so many of them out there right now. It could sample your voice, and then you could script it to say anything. And you understand how this could be a real problem security-wise for like banks that use voice verification. They call you up, fraud. We are entering into this this is AI, artificial intelligence. I'm saying this right now. I've been saying this for months, is the most disruptive technology potentially in the history of all humankind. More than the wheel, more than sliced bread, more than the car, more than the internet, more than the incandescent light bulb. This AI I'm getting it now. Elon Musk was saying that AI has the potential to destroy the entire planet. I get it. This is the wild, wild west. This is the wild, wild west, right? Now, I've been talking a little bit about, I do want to talk about how you can leverage it in your business, but I'm going to go over this article I wrote. I wrote this article on Medium. It's called The Great AI Deception When Our Robot Overlords Pull a Fast One, talking about the ethics, right? So clearly, one, deep fakes. So we could do face swapping, right? We've seen these deep face. Some of them are hilarious where you swap out like a man's face with a woman's face and it looks ridiculous. Well, while this is entertaining, it could definitely be misused, right? So, and create a lot of chaos for people. So hopefully AI developers are focusing on creating transparent. This is the one thing why maybe like open source software is fantastic. So we could trace the origin of deep fakes, put blockchain on it or something. We all are talking about misinformation, whether it's, Facebook saying something is fake news, or Donald Trump saying it's fake news, or anybody saying it's fake news, it's going to be more and more difficult to determine what is real and not. Right now, this opens up a whole can of worms with copyright. I know that there's issues right now where people are writing stuff in AI using like Jasper or ChatGPT, or using Wally, or what is the other image generator? I can't remember the name of it. And like there was one where these people made a graphic novel using AI generated, but guess what? The AI owns the copyright. I mean, it's really, really crazy, right? Chatbots, you may not be able to tell if somebody's real or a chatbot. Crazy, crazy times. But that's a whole other that's a whole other issue. What did Bill say here? 100% agree on the impact. I read it sometimes. I think you're talking about Medium. Yeah, I post on there all the time. It's a great platform. There's a lot of great writers on Medium. I highly recommend it. But I want to talk today about these implications for AI. Right now, I do a lot of work with what's known as business development. And so I help companies basically with revenue. How do you grow the money at your company? And there's a few things that need to be addressed. Marketing is the number one thing. And that includes a lot of stuff that people don't typically think about, like their brand house, things like that. Sales, you need to understand sales. You got to be able to onboard your client easily. So generating leads, closing leads, and then being able to scale the system so that you don't run into limitations, right? So for example, a limitation that we had in our software company for a number of years was that we would go out and sell, make a bunch of money. Then we had to service the clients. So we had to stop selling, and then revenues went down. Then we had to stop servicing and start selling. And it creates this awful cycle. So how do you keep making money and scale? I have now started leveraging AI, and really I've pushed all my chips in on AI. I think I've committed myself to almost $50,000 in training and platforms so that I could truly understand this. So I'm committed. That's almost as much as I spent on my graduate degree, my master's degree. So just to give you a perspective. And I ended up getting my master's in financial mathematics and did that for a number of years for investment banking, mortgage banking. So today we're talking about artificial intelligence, how you can leverage it to get that massive success in your business, right? So let's go in with our minds open and our notepads into this wild world of like ridiculous, endless possibilities. So technology is the great liberator, but you have to be careful because sometimes your liberator could become your new master. Okay. So we should always be on the lookout for new ways to leverage technology. Some of you guys take this like Luddite, neo-Luddite approach where new technology is bad. And I don't like that. I don't think that's a fair way of looking at it. I think that the technology itself is agnostic. It's like a gun. It doesn't have it. Guns in themselves are neither good nor bad. If a good guy uses a gun, it's a great thing. We see this in movies all the time. If a bad guy uses a gun, it's a bad thing, right? So you can't just like say there's something intrinsic with the technology. AI has come a very long way since its inception, right? It is way beyond what Amazon could do with their Echo stuff. And I mean, just look at like the self-driving cars. It's smarter, faster, and more efficient than it has ever been. Okay. According to some sources, AI could conceivably contribute almost $16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. That's staggering. 16 trillion. A billion is 1,000 million. A million's 1,000 thousand. Okay. Imagine a pile of $1,000. And now get 1,000 of those. That's $1 million. I think it weighs 22 pounds. Then 1,000 piles of a million is a billion, and 1,000 piles of a billion is a trillion, and there's 16 trillion of potential revenue that's going to be contributed by AI by 2030. That is like very fast and a lot of money. Okay. So what is AI? Just broadly speaking, right? It's a branch of computer science that deals with the creation of machines that can perform tasks that would normally require a human. Like learning. That's a crazy thing, man. A machine can learn now. Problem solving, decision making, understanding natural language that we speak. Mind blowing. Okay, so let's talk about this. How can you leverage this in your business? And I mean, whether you work for somebody or you are an entrepreneur yourself, because the possibilities are mind blowing. I told you about this plant. Like, dude, you could do such crazy stuff. Think about customer service. Customer service. How many of you here have ever had a retail customer service job? Give me a number one in the chat. If you've ever had a retail customer service job, hit me up. Oh, what'd Bill say here? Bill says Amazon has new LLM they're about to release that will help Echo and Alexa. Yeah, dude, like this is going to be ubiquitous. It's going to be ubiquitous. And the trick is how do we stay in control of it? So how many of you guys had retail or customer service gigs? Now, AI can handle when people give you an inquiry. And there's no unions, can work 24 hours a day, can handle millions of requests, will be polite even if it had a bad day, even if somebody peed on their Cheerios or their cat got run over. That customer service AI is going to be great. Whereas the human might be affected because of emotions or problems. Now, everybody, right? Like when the light bulb was invented, people were freaked out. Like, oh, candle makers, what are we going to do for a job? Okay. Yeah, it's disruptive. So those jobs will be handled by computers, right? Like automation in automobile plants. Now, a lot of the welding and the pieces and whatnot are put together by robotics. So did people lose their jobs? Yeah. Okay. This idea of like losing jobs, I hate that term because it assumes possession. The job's not yours. If you take a job, it actually belongs to the business owner and they can do whatever the hell they want with it. So you never get to lose a job. I mean, I know it's the common parlance of the language and that won't necessarily change, but I think it's important. Nobody owes you anything in this world. And if you get a job, you should be grateful and do your best to help the employer with their mission and the task that you've been given the responsibility of fulfilling. But you don't own a job. That's like, we lose jobs to Mexicans or whatever that stupid right-wing bullshit is. It wasn't your job, dude. If somebody from another country, a person from Mexico, a Mexican comes in, they're willing to do the same job and do a better job at a better rate. I mean, you can't blame them, dude. That's all consensual, right? So, but the thing is when the robots took over the jobs, say in Detroit from the car manufacturers, people had to find other jobs. So now there's new jobs maintaining the robots, programming the robots. Do you understand? So it just takes harder and harder labor out of our hands. I'm going to tell you, before, I grew up very blue collar, dude, like on the lower end of middle class. Okay. I wouldn't say we were poor, but we were not middle class and definitely not upper middle class. We were like lower middle class. And I had to do retail jobs. I had no connections to get better office jobs or anything. I did retail jobs for years and I hated it. It was awful. I got fired because I just would get sick of having to be in a good mood. It just wasn't what I was good at, right? And I just kind of sometimes I'd be not feeling well or something, and a customer would come and be mean, and I just, I didn't put up with it. I just was very direct with them. And that ended up getting me fired. Retail is hard because you always have to be on. Well, guess what? AI could take that over. I don't see a problem with that. Okay. So this is going to free up people to do more important work. Okay. AI chatbots alone, it's estimated that in 2022 alone, AI chatbots, it's estimated that it saved companies over $8 billion. Just AI chatbots. Okay. Well, let's think about sales and marketing. This is where I'm going into and where I'm really trying to study everything I can about leveraging AI to amplify my reach. So what is sales and marketing? Marketing, let's make this super duper simple. Marketing is getting leads, letting people know you exist and that you're in the marketplace and you can help people with a service or a product. That's what marketing does. All the permutations that are involved with that, getting leads. Sales then is converting those leads into clients. So they're kind of married, right? And like in the middle is prospecting. Now, AI, the great thing about AI, instantly, obviously we know it can write ad copy, it can do all these fantastic things. It can analyze enormous sets of data and identify patterns and trends that a human might overlook. This is real. So helping people targeting marketing campaigns so that you can effectively close deals faster, maybe qualifying people better. It also can help you personalize your marketing message to get engagement. Engagement is really one of the holy grails of business. Whether it's engagement with your employees to make sure that they're actually doing what needs to get done and not just cashing a check. And again, AI is going to really be hot on people's heels because AI is engaged. AI does whatever you ask it to, right? But it's not just engagement with your employees, but engagement with your potential clients. This is something that everybody is seeking on social media, is how do I get people engaged? How do I get them interacting with my content so that I capture their attention? What you have to understand is that in the information age, I don't think I'm related. I got to kind of dig into my 23andMe, but the father in the information age and I share the same last name. His name was Claude Shannon. He was a mechanical engineer, and he was brilliant. He came up with the first mathematical model to model information. Okay. And it's what everything that we're doing today is built upon. He started fooling around with robotics and AI and all these things. And this was a guy, we're talking like early 20th century. Okay. So you need to figure out how to get people engaged with what you're doing. What I'm doing right now is marketing. I could spend money on ads, or I could go and do this live as many times as I can. And guess what happens? How did I get you in here? How did I get you in here? You had somehow been on my social media. What I found out through my experimentation with the algorithm, social media loves frequency. So I figured out a way to automate frequent content production and distribution through my media channels, right? It's part of my secret sauce. For example, Scientific Wrestling, I added, I think a week ago, we were at 29,000 followers. Maybe it was 10 days ago, and we're at 32,000. So I've added like 3,000 followers in the last week or something. I don't have the exact numbers. You can go look yourself. And that's mostly through frequency. So now that I've got you, what you don't understand is social media can actually act as lead capture. This is one of the things I try to teach my clients. Like, don't shy away from social media. Maybe you have lead capture. You have a pop-up or like an autoresponder type of deal on your website where you capture somebody's email and phone number and you give them a freebie, like the old school model of doing things online. Cool. That's great. Do that. I love that. But guess what? You can also capture social media, people on social media, because now, for example, you've got me on LinkedIn, you've got me on Facebook, you've got me on Instagram, you've got me on Twitch, you've got me on Twitter, all the channels, multi-channel broadcasts I'm doing with this, right? And guess what? Every time I go live, ping, it pops up in your feed. Hey, Coach Jake is going live. Listen in. Now I got your attention. So where I was going with this is in the information age that Claude Shannon ushered in, attention is the most important thing. This is also what Grant Cardone has totally figured out. And he's like me. He's a tinkerer. He gets in there and he rolls his sleeve up and figured it out. What is it? The way Grant puts it is this: money follows attention. I say it's slightly different because I have an economics background and I'm maybe a little more of a nerd about it. Attention is the currency of the information age. You need to figure out how to capture attention. That's engagement. And this is really where social media is going to blow up because of the AI. I'm not even sure what's going to happen like with this AI, because it could break social media. Because people figure out how to automate and use all this stuff, tweak the algorithms much quicker. I guarantee you I'm going to be banging on this hard to try to figure things out using the AI. Okay. What else can we, I mean, it could do supply chain management. You can optimize your entire supply chain. You could forecast demand, manage the inventory, fulfill orders. This is another thing that I'm looking for. I want to help. I'm trying to set this up now. I don't have it right now, and it's a slow and clunky process, but I want to have AI handle my onboarding of my clients to where the second that I get involved in a conversation, it sends them all the contracts. Contracts are all done automatically, and it's following up and making sure, hey, this guy, I didn't get the agreement today. Let's send him another message. And I don't have to do it. I'm out of it. In addition to doing like smoothing out onboarding or fulfilling orders, you can, again, I mentioned this prior, analyze historical data, try to forecast demand, help you make smarter decisions, minimize waste. I'm not, I do think that that's important. I do think profitability is absolutely important, but I think it's second to revenue. The number one emphasis has to be on revenue. And then the number two is profit. And that's basically just looking at your costs, right? Revenue minus cost equals profit. So I want to go a little bit deeper on the data analysis and decision-making. I tell people all the time, I got my master's degree in financial engineering from Golden Gate University in San Francisco, 2002. And I think I was actually in the first group of financial engineers to get their master's degree. Like, I think I was, because when I did it, nobody did. This is what ended up happening is we were the first program in the Bay Area, and then Golden Gate, and then Berkeley, the Haas School of Business, opened theirs, and then it took everybody from Golden Gate to San Francisco to Berkeley, and Berkeley is still the number one financial engineering program in the country. I took a couple classes with Sheldon Ross, who's actually an operations guy, but does a lot of mathematics and operations. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is I had to make a choice. There was two majors in my grad school that I could have gone with. I started out in applied economics, and I found it wasn't challenging enough for me. And I wanted to do something that would challenge me and hopefully make me more money than applied economics. That's why I went to financial engineering. But there was two. The second one that I had to determine if I wanted to do or not. Oh, Delmer, thanks for grabbing that badge, dude. Appreciate it. Out on Instagram. Thank you very much. I love the support. But what I ended up having to do was make a decision between financial engineering, which is what I went with clearly, or this other one, computational decision analysis, CDA, computational decision analysis. Now, I did not go that route. Like I said, my wife and I run a software company, but I'm going to be honest. And the reason I don't do the financial engineering anymore is I don't like it. I can do analytics. Clearly, I pass graduate level, calculus and stochastic calculus, statistics, all these things. No problem. And I worked professionally as a statistician, but I don't enjoy it. I enjoy business. I love business. But the great thing is now AI can do all that stuff, because that's exactly what computational decision analysis really entailed. Was how do you program, how do you get machine language to make human-like decisions for you. And better than human-like decisions, like decisions that are better than human. Now, that is a iffy concept, and I love philosophy, and there's a lot about like gut that I think maybe AI is going to have a hard time replicating. But you can do things like cluster analysis, and there are these tricks in statistics and inferential decision making, which I really think does underpin a lot of our thought processes anyway. So now we have this AI that can make sense of the vast amount of information at our disposal. This has been challenging for all of us. Like the internet, man, sometimes it's like drinking water out of a fire hose. It's like, right? You get too much data, you get down a wormhole. Next thing you know, you've watched 7 hours of video on frogs or something, right? And you didn't do the work because you couldn't sit through all the data, but AI could do that. AI could do that for you. It can help you make really strong data decisions, data-driven decisions. Now, of course, the caveat is garbage in, garbage out. So you got to make sure that the AI is actually looking at good data, but you can have it run Monte Carlo simulations, these other kind of wonderful decision-making things that are great aids to humans that help reduce risk, increase efficiency, ultimately help you achieve better results, right? So, and that's not it, okay? Let's talk about something that's human in business. Let's talk about human resources, man. Everybody hates HR unless you work for HR. If you get reported to HR, it sucks, right? Because you were cussing or you wore something inappropriate or whatever. So, but let's talk about AI in relationship to human resources. This could streamline recruiting processes. You can analyze candidate profiles. You can start predicting job performance. We know that there are these assessments out there that are legally defensible. I use them myself when I work with a company. If it's a big enough company, if it's a small company, sometimes you don't need it. But if it's a big company, I'll go in and I'll use these processes like DISC assessments or Clifton Strength or PXT. And these are all legally defensible. Now, guess what? I hooked that into AI, the data into AI. Man, now I got the right people in the right seat. This could literally save your HR team thousands of hours, which then convert into hundreds of thousands of dollars of manual work and help you build a stronger labor force for your company, right? So I know all that it's like, that sounds fantastic, right, Jake? But how do you actually get it implemented? How do you actually put this stuff into your business? The thing is all of this is so new that is the task. That's what I'm working on personally. How do I integrate AI into business to help raise everybody's level? You know, the promises of socialism are actually delivered by capitalism. I hate to break this to you, and I don't mean corporate socialism or corporatism or the American system is not. I'm talking about not state capitalism like the United States or China or these others. I'm talking about laissez-faire capitalism. Okay, the voluntary association of human beings. That is what raises and has historically raised lifestyles and lengthened life, all that kind of stuff. So how do we get there? How do we leverage the AI? How do we start small and scale up? Okay. The good news is this AI is so mind-blowing. And just like the internet was mind-blowing, but this is even more mind-blowing. You don't have to invest millions of dollars to see the benefits of AI. Dude, ChatGPT, you can get on for free. You can get on for free, man. There's so many platforms and tools that are super affordable, if not free, and easy to implement. And now you guys may not understand this. There's more software-oriented people understand like APIs and Zapier and all these things, these integrations that are happening. It's happening fast. There's something you guys all probably know about ChatGPT and OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT. Well, there's work on something called Auto, like automobile, automatic, AUTO GPT. It doesn't really have a friendly user interface right now, but it basically is integrating all of the different. You can now have ChatGPT, have AI do complicated tasks, because right now, like for example, ChatGPT, Jasper, these other generative AI language models, they do things step by step. You tell it to do something, it does it. Then you got to say the next thing, it does it. Auto GPT will do it all. If I said like, hey, Auto GPT, create an email drip campaign using MailChimp or Active Campaign or whatever platform, and draft 20 emails selling the product listed at this URL, and write it in the voice of Alex Hormozy. That would I would actually have to do a bunch of prompts, and then I'd have to actually do the work of integrating it to the MailChimp or whatever. Auto GPT can do all of that for you. It's just like a virtual assistant. This is really crazy. This is crazy stuff. Now, as an entrepreneur, I have leveraged virtual assistants for 15 years. I do have a couple that are here in the States. I have one in Montreal, I have one in Vegas, and I have a couple in the Philippines and one in Pakistan. Gonna be real, man. It's getting to a point where this thing is going to be able to do even what they do, and they live in areas where the money goes further. It's going to even be able to outcompete them. This is so crazy. Rob Dent says, use AI to create customers. And that's exactly what I put myself to task to do. So I'm aiming in the next 3 months, given my substantial investment of time, money, blood, sweat, and tears into this project, I'm hoping to have this up and running in the next 3 or 4 months for No1 coaching. And then I'm going to use my already existing companies to test and make sure that these platforms work. And then I'm going to roll it out hopefully by if I can get Q3, that would be fantastic. So if you want to start leveraging it, you need to identify the areas of your business where AI can make the most significant impact. That could be customer service, that could be marketing, or any of the other places that I talked about earlier, right? So the next step, once you have that problem or that pain point that needs to be solved, then you have to go and start researching the various AI tools and platforms, and then vet them out and find the one that fits your needs best and your budget. And mind you, you guys got to stop thinking about price all the time. You got to start thinking about the return on investment. Yeah, I dropped all this money, but I feel that, dude, the money that I put into this AI, I'm constantly going broke. I don't know, man. This is another thing I love about Grant Cardone. He's like, dude, go broke. Keep investing. As long as you're not wasting your money on like clothes or things that don't have cash flow, just go broke investing. It all comes back to you. Now, for Grant, that means real estate. And that's a fantastic thing, but I got to be real, man. Right now, commercial real estate's imploding. Multifamily is still doing well. We see that your normal realtors are having a hell of a time because of the high interest rates. So the other thing you could do besides real estate, and Grant does this as well, is invest in businesses. Invest in your own business. So that's why I titled this talk, how can you leverage artificial intelligence in your business? And when I say your business, that might be the person you work for. So for example, I have a sales team with our software company, and we have a number of systems in place and SOPs and whatnot. And one of the SOPs is you're going to go use ChatGPT. You're going to go you have the person find the LinkedIn profile of the person that you are trying to pitch. You take that and you say, hey, write a pitch for this product to this person from this person in LinkedIn. You put your link and hit go. And it creates an automated email sequence or DM that you could start sending out to people for your market. I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about? It would have normally taken maybe a day or two to get this written out, drafted, and spell checked and all that. It could be done in like 3 seconds. Like 3 seconds. It's mind-blowing what can be done. So once you get these right tools, then you have to start investing in training. This is the hardest thing in doing what I do. Most people go into business because they are in love with what it is that they're selling, whether it's a product or service. Let's say you're selling a widget. Man, I got the best widget. It does this, that, beats every other widget. Great. 9 out of 10 businesses still go out of business, whether it's a widget or not. Why? Because everybody tends to spend their time developing the product and not developing the business, and in particular, not developing sales and marketing. It's the most important part of a business. Because if you don't have money, if you don't have a top line, when you look at the income statement, revenue is top. Everything else is a function or is dependent upon the money that you bring in. That should be the number one thing. And then you start working about profitability, right? The bottom line. First is the top line, then worry about the bottom line. But people don't worry about it. And then what they end up doing is they just keep trying to cut costs. And then that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way to go. Sure, cut costs if it's inefficient or something. But sometimes people are like, oh, I need to cut my marketing budget. Dude, that is the wrong thing to do. So you need to start really understanding the importance of investing in training. And that training is not going to happen at the university level. I'm sorry, it's not. Unless your professor has run a business before. I guaranteed. I ran into this in grad school. Sure, I could learn all the language and the nonsense, but I didn't start really learning until I got my first gig. I worked at this place called Trinity Capital in LA, a boutique investment firm, where it was me, 6 other guys that were all Harvard MBAs, and a billionaire doing debt restructuring deals. I learned so much just being a fly on the wall and actually seeing how business is really done and transacting, where the money really is at. Now, to get into that room, it cost me $60,000 and a lot of work, 3 years or 4 years of grad school to get into that room with the Harvard MBAs and the billionaire. What kind of training are you actually doing to make it happen? Like I said, I just dropped 10 grand. I'm on the hook for another 30 grand and another 15 grand, all AI related right now. What are you doing? Sitting there twiddling your thumbs, hoping for free information. I give out great stuff. What I'm giving is valuable information. Okay. Imagine if you actually start paying me. What we can do. That's what I do for a living. Does that make sense? So you have to select the right tools. You have to invest time and money, and you have to train so you use it. That may mean like going to workshops, doing webinars, hiring externals, experts, coaches to help guide you through the implementation. Right? Remember, the success of your AI implementation in your business could depend on how well your team, which includes you, can adapt and utilize this new tech. The skill is learning how to learn. In this age, you've got to learn how to learn. Now, when you start seeing results, here's the other thing. People will see a result and they're like, oh, this is great. And then they just coast. That's when you start seeing results. That's when you lean in. That's when you start pouring a little bit of kerosene on the fire. Okay, that means investing even more money, more time in more advanced tools, integrating things into your processes even deeper. Right? Again, like I said, the key here is if you want to leverage artificial intelligence, you got to leverage your natural intelligence, man. Stop being lazy. Okay, so now before we wrap up, a few words of caution, right? AI is undoubtedly super powerful, right? And it's essential to just strike the right balance too here, right? Because you can't just get rid of it. I know that people are going to end up with AI fatigue too, because everybody's going to jump on this AI because it's so amazing. So you want to make sure that you keep human interaction at the key places. And sometimes that's a bit of a feel. There's not just a cookie cutter. You got to kind of experiment and find where that's at. And you got to make sure that your employees, so not just your customers, but your employees are feeling excited, engaged, all that. Does it make sense? Remember, the future belongs to those who are willing to adapt, to learn, and to grow. So let's get out there, guys. Let's start doing this. We got a question from Jay Espinoza. Where are you learning about AI? I want to get into that. So here's what I would suggest. Go on to LinkedIn and hit search for AI and start following people that are players in AI. This is probably the fastest way for you to get up to speed. Follow as many of the players, people that are actually in the business, like OpenAI has a LinkedIn page that they're constantly posting material to. That's just an example. And there's many of them. I mentioned another one, Cecilia Tam, brilliant like AI researcher. You can find these people and follow them, and they will start giving you information. That would be probably the quickest way that I recommend that you get in on the AI train. Because the thing is just like anything, there are going to be people competing in this space, and you want to like get as broad of a view of you can as possible. Oh, Bill Moore's got something here. Bill is a software programmer out of Lehigh, Utah. The URL, I just threw it up on the screen for everybody on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Thanks for that, Bill. It's for those of you on Instagram, it's learn.microsoft.com. So like Microsoft.com, put learn.microsoft.com. And then actually just go to the Microsoft website, type in get started with artificial intelligence on Azure. Azure is the big servers that Microsoft does. It's like the competition would be like the Amazon Web Services servers. So I hope that helps you, Jay Espinoza. And thanks for that, Bill. I would get on LinkedIn, start following the players, because they're going to have a really broad and constantly updated list of things that you could start learning. Let's see what else we got. Carmen says AI is intense and unavoidable. Need to get ahead of it and harness the power. Yeah, I mean, that's like, I think this is like really, Delmer says makes perfect sense. I'm not sure. I was late to that comment. Sorry. So yeah, dude, it's inevitable. Like you need to just get on it, like be done with it. And this is the future. This is AI. It like, everybody's like, oh, VR, blah, blah, blah. No, AI. VR maybe down the road a little bit. I think VR's got a ways to go before it really is applicable. People really want to do it more so than social media. Rob Denton says half Terminator, half John Connor. Dude, it's coming, dude. It's coming. And you know, it is all inherently, ultimately political too. You know, I don't know if I've followed transhumanism since the 90s. Natasha Vita Moore and Max Moore. Do you even know who these people are? Do you even know what transhumanism is? I've known of these people for a long time. I've been for and against it at various times. When my first job that was non-retail was actually selling life insurance. So I started out, my first non-retail gig was hardcore sales, like literally prior to the internet, roll into the insurance company. I'm in the financial district of San Francisco, and I get it. I show up in my cheap little suit, brand new life insurance license. I sit down. I'm excited. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. They go, here you go. Boom, put the fucking white pages on my table, and they're like, start dialing at the A's. Old school. So, yeah, man, like I thought the internet was a big deal, and it was a big deal, and social media, but AI, dude, this stuff is so mind-blowing. You have to really jump on board. Just like, remember, there was a guy who said, hey, what if I sold books online? Now he's like one of the richest guys on the planet. I would really start investing effort into it. And again, I'm here to help you. I'm highly invested in it. Again, I've gone totally broke trying to, because I believe so strongly that this is in the future, right? Um, Emperor Charlemagne, what's up? Oh, he's going to bring this back to wrestling. I like it. I like it. Hey, Jake, I missed a few weeks of podcast. Don't worry, I hardly podcasted this week. I think this is the first one I've done since Thursday. I've been so busy, dude. Hope you're well. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on the Joe Rogan episode with Ric Flair. Some great catch can shout outs on that episode. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't know how they make those shout outs and don't shout out scientific wrestling. We are the guys that have put it on the map. I mean, it's a fact, dude. This is like facts, right? They're spitting out Billy Robson, Carl Gotch. I'm like, hello. But yeah, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. Yeah, Ric Flair is fantastic. Ric Flair talks a lot about Billy Robson all the time. He talks about him in his autobiography and whatnot. So, yeah. Let's see here. Got somebody trying to sell me rash guards equipment. Mr. Chad Keel, how can I invest in AI? So again, look at something like Microsoft has invested heavily in it. So you could do something as simple as buying Microsoft stock. I'm not a big fan of the stock market. I've done well in the stock market because, again, I have my graduate degree in basically something that's a big part of it was studying options and derivatives, futures, swaps, forwards, things of that nature. But the tax on your gains is brutal. That's the main reason I don't like it. The only business now that I invest in are my own. That doesn't mean that I run them, but it's like if I'm in with a company, like, you know what I mean? Because now there's other things too. Like I can actually see what's happening. I don't have to just rely on maybe some sketchy Enron style accountants cooking the 10K or whatever, the numbers. So I'm more interested in investing in your own business and your own personal development, frankly. But you can invest in AI, and you can just Google that. There's all kinds of resources, but you can also invest in yourself learning it. And that's the way that I'm approaching it. So I don't know if that helps you, but I'm just telling you what I do. Let's see here. Yeah, Bill Moore says that Microsoft training on AI in Azure is really great and it's free. So, all right, guys, this weekend, I'm heading out to Charlotte. We are doing the accelerator camp for all you guys interested in grappling, particularly wrestling for MMA and grappling. We will be there 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, Fit to Fight. It is a self-defense school in Charlotte run by a gentleman by the name of Ryan Hoover, who's an expert in self-defense. Long-time guy. That guy goes back forever in Krav Maga circles, but in my opinion, he expanded beyond. I think he saw maybe some of the limitations and has really doubled down on. I've seen him host other people in wrestling, great wrestling camps out there as well, weapons and whatnot. So if you're in the Charlotte area, sign up. Got like 2 days. And then at the end of May, I put together a camp for you guys with Wade Chalice, the Guinness record holder for the most wins and pins in all of wrestling, the most wins over international champions, most wins over national champions. Okay. And Josh Barnett held the record for being the youngest UFC heavyweight athlete, champion, and picked up grappling championships everywhere he went as a white belt in jiu-jitsu, beating all the advanced black belt guys. Both of those guys, good friends of mine, friends of scientific wrestling, are going to be in the Mojave Desert with us. So come on out. You're going to have a heck of a good time. Emperor Charlemagne is saying something about Josh. How often do you do camps with Josh and Wade? Once per year or more often? I'm dying to go to one. I have not done one since 2017. So after Billy Robson passed away in 2014, I had a bit of a existential crisis about grappling. It was the same year I had to quit because of the strokes I had as a result of the carotid dissection and the atrophy in my neck. And me having to quit something that was so central to my identity, and then probably the most impactful coach that I had ever had up to that time passing, I was like done. I didn't want anything to do with it. And credit to my wife, my partner, fantastic woman, Sandra, and my friend and partner in scientific wrestling in training, Sam Crescent. They were like, no, dude, you got to keep doing. Sam would want you to keep going. And I just didn't have it in my heart. I was just broken, dude. And I was like trying to sort it out. But I realized rationally that I needed to keep it going. So long story short, both Wade, who's a longtime friend, I'd worked with him since like 2004, 2003, and Josh, who I'd known since at least 2005, both stepped up to help. And so I marketed it as the PIN, which is Wade, Submit seminars, and did that from 2014 to 2017. Josh and Wade helped me tremendously. And then in the next, once I got my head straight and I started to see what we needed to have for the vision and the mission of the company. The mission is to improve the lives of every man, woman, and child on planet Earth through scientific wrestling. That's over 8 billion people. It's a big mission. I was like, I got to change things up. So we started actually formalizing and creating the Coaching Catch certification program, the only one that was co-developed and endorsed by both Billy Robinson and Wade Chalice, integrated and programmed and taught with my suggestions. And then also created Shoot Pro Wrestling, mostly for marketing and to highlight the talent and draw people in, as well as the affiliate program to spread us out across the globe. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, our longtime friend, Martin Ostwick, finally released a tribute video about Billy Robinson. It was fantastic. You can find it on my socials. Really, really amazing. So long story short, this is getting the band back together, Emperor Charlemagne. I don't know when I'm going to do it again. It's expensive. I really don't make any money out of it because I have so many costs involved. So I don't know when I'm going to be doing that again. The point is, I would get your butt out to the Mojave Desert. Go to coachingcatch.com, sign up, get there. Okay. So let's see here. Will Espinoza, will you ever do one of the accelerators in Chicago? Maybe. It's gotta make sense, right? It's gotta make dollars if it's gonna make sense. I ain't gonna go out there and lose money. I ain't gonna go out there with a bunch of wankers that aren't actually committed and really want to do this and waste my time. So help me make it happen, and it's real, and we can do it. Yeah, dude, I'll bring a crew and we'll rock it, dude. The Real Big Biryani. What's up, dude? Long time no see. Hey, coach, hope all is well. A bit off topic, but I've dislocated my kneecap. It tore a few ligaments. Oh, dude, this is just, I don't even like the sound of this. During a wrestling session, any tips for recovery? I can't wait to get back in training. Oh, dude, I feel you, man. After I had my carotid dissection, I continued to wrestle. It was probably 2008 is when they best estimate when I had it. And I continued to wrestle till all the way through 2013. I understand you're injured. You want to get back to it. There's a shelf life. You're an athlete. There's only so much time. Dude, your best bet, dude, honestly, if I were in your shoes, I can't tell you what to do, but if I were in your shoes, man, I would go find some stem cells. I would go find I would find the best PT person that I can afford, and I'd figure out how to afford it. And I would take creatine. I would do all the things that I could do to heal that bad boy up. I'm not a fan of surgeons, but man, sometimes with if it's an ACL or whatever, or ligaments, you might have to get them in there to sew things up. That's what I would recommend. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Let's see who else we got in comments. Oh, what's up, Kevin? Excuse me. He says, greeting, coach. Awesome camp you conducted in Denver recently. I learned a lot. Yeah, that was a great camp. What I really enjoy is when these guys see, the thing is there's so much to teach. And I think that if you're going to teach this, like when I was running my own gym or running my own club, I had 90-minute, 2-hour practices. I don't like this 1 hour. It's just, I'm really more serious about it, I think. And to do that, you need the proper amount of time to train and do all the stuff that's necessary. What I like about these camps is that it is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like we are going like 6 hours. But you're really able to get somewhere in 6 hours. Okay. And then you do 2 days of that. And I can get somebody, that's why I call it an accelerator camp. I can get somebody up to speed really quick. But guess what? It takes probably about, this is why the structure is the way it is with our system. It takes 5 to 10 camps for people to really get up to speed. And if you spread that out too far, you're never going to make progress. So for example, the guys up at Scientific Wrestling Canada, I think in this last year alone, they've already done 7 or 8 camps, something like that. And they're way ahead. They got all the moves. They know what to do. That's what it takes. This is what I did with Billy for 7 years. I was at every camp. We're talking probably 10 camps a year for 7 years, consistent, like 70 camps at 12 hours a camp or whatever the numbers are, plus all the travel overseas, all the other stuff that we did together. So it takes time and it takes consistency and it takes deliberate effort, right? Jay Espinoza says, how can I help make it happen? What's a minimum amount of people you need to make it worthwhile? I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people cash in on seminars. I don't like seminars. I make more money elsewhere. I don't really feel, I know what happens at these seminars. You get one of these BJJ celebrity guys. They come in, it's a 3-hour seminar. It's $250. You'll learn one half-ass technique because there's like 50, 60 people in there. And really what you learn is nothing. And you get a photo and you get to say, oh, I learned from so-and-so. No, you didn't. Not really. Right. So I would want to do a camp. If we're going to do it, I'm going to do a camp. I need a location and I need 12 to 15 people at the location that are paying. Right. So I hope that helps. The real Big Biryani says, thank you, coach. What advice would you give to someone who wants to open up a wrestling or BJJ/grappling gym in India or the Middle East? Dude, that's a hard one, man. That's a super hard one because I don't know the market. I don't know the laws, like honestly, the best advice I could give you is to just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop planning. Just jump off the damn high dive. Start telling people that you're holding practice. Find a place to hold practice. Get the relevant insurance, the liability waivers. I don't know. There's so many complexities, but just start. Start. That would be the number one thing I would say. The real Big Biryani, Big Biryani says, both of those are massive markets in which the UFC and other promotions are pushing a lot of money into. Yeah, I agree, right? Like, that's a great thing about this world is that, we could broadcast anywhere, in any little country, any big country, wherever. But, the most important thing is just start. That's what I would do. And try to find, this is what I did, try to find the very best guys you can to train with. And I did. I mean, literally the best guys. Billy Robinson, Wade Chalice, Carl Gotch, literally the greatest guys. Now, some of you that you may not be able to hit that level, but find the best guys you can and try to learn from them. That would be what I do. All right, guys, man, holy shit. This went up like an hour. Did not mean this to go that long. I appreciate all you guys that stayed on with me today. I hope this was useful. If this was useful to you, throw up a number 1 in the chat for me. Recommend this. I am on Apple Podcasts, and I'd like to get some traction on Apple Podcasts. That's supposed to be the biggest platform, but my platform is Instagram. Everybody likes it here, and then Facebook and LinkedIn. I'd like to get out to Apple Podcasts. So please, if you like this, if you think this is value, you think this will help other people, right, in your life, please send it out. Big Biryani giving me a thank you and a number 1. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, get the word out. That I would really appreciate this. I don't charge for any of these, and I try to answer all the questions that I possibly can, hopefully helping you guys. Anyway, we're bumping up, man. I got 45 seconds and we're about here to an hour. Punchy Faces says, we can make Chicago. That's very close. So +2. Yeah, but you guys have already paid. I need new blood to pay for flights and whatnot. But I appreciate you guys. Punchy Facey, by the way, is they were our very first affiliate, and they were our first international affiliate, Scientific Wrestling Canada. Carmen and Marco, the Italian the Italian assassins up there in Windsor. Appreciate you guys. I will catch you hopefully tomorrow. Like I said, I've got back-to-back meetings, and I got to get ready for a camp, an accelerator camp. I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. If not,